As the children be falling ill frequently, I know that I've had a lot of cases of parents complaining to me that their children are falling ill, maybe cold, catarrh, running stool, whatever it is. Now, if you know somebody that has children that are having this situation, or even if it's you, just make sure that you listen to this video to the end, because I decided to do this video today because of, okay, so this happened to my neighbor who has a 9-month-old baby, of course, and baby was running nose, having fever, and all of that. And of course, first time baby, so they were panicking. So I took my time to explain to them that there's no need for panic. And eventually the baby is fine. So, but you need to listen to this video to the end so that I can explain in details how to prevent those frequent illness and just simply how to boost your child's immune system. So just to make sure that I'm not missing out anything, that's why I actually outlined all the details. And of course, we'll start from what parents are doing that is wrong. So some of the things that we do to our children in the name of love actually are some of the things that are responsible for the reasons for the children having these frequent illnesses. Now, one big one, which a lot of us are guilty of it, of course I try not to do that too, but a lot of us are guilty of it, is when you feed your children, we have what we call pro-inflammatory food. So when you're giving children pro-inflammatory food, that's food that causes inflammation in the body. And you know what kind of food those are? Of course, sweet food, sugar, food that is high in sugar, food that are processed, highly processed food, and junk food. Let me just put it like that. So highly processed, sugar, food that is, all their snacks, all those snacks that we buy for them. Those are pro-inflammatory food. So one of the major things that parents do to their children that causes these inflammatory responses is feeding children with high sugar food diets. So high sugar snack, high sugar food generally. Those biscuits and all of those things that they eat, those are what we call pro-inflammatory food. So we have food that we call pro-inflammatory. They cause inflammation. And of course, you see, inflammation is those, those fever you feel. The fever that you feel. The running nose, the diarrhea sometimes. A lot of all of those things is just happening because, and even pain and weaknesses is happening because of the inflammation going on in the body. So, like I said, avoid too much pro-inflammatory food, and this also over-processed food. I've done some explanation in previous videos, so if you're someone that follows me, you understand what I mean by inflammation in details. Why those food are pro-inflammatory. So you want to just keep those things away from your children, because that's the reason. And we also have some dairy food that's like milk, for example. Yes, especially the sweetened ones would also cause inflammation. That's some of all this. Then we also have, and that's the reason why you just want to avoid giving them those food all the time, because if they eat it all the time, they will manifest in continuous running nose. That's one very common one, or cough. So sometimes diarrhea, because their digestive system also will react. So sometimes diarrhea. It does. Then the next thing that we now do after you have done all of that, then the same parents will now pour gari or sand, or how will I use it, fry pan into fire or whatever, and then now still go and just based on those symptoms, go and buy antibiotics or malaria medications, or even paracetamol, ibuprofen, and all of that. Now, let me take my time to explain what inflammation really is. Inflammation actually is a process that is good for you. It's not a negative process, but then when it becomes too much is when it becomes. So it's a way that your immune system is helping deal with what it feels is a problem. Like it feels that there are foreign bodies in your body. So, and then to do that, it most times will have to, the process why you feel hot, your body feels the temperature is high, because it will have to increase that temperature because it wants to get rid of those, in some cases, viruses, bacteria. It feels like it wants to use heat. I'm trying to use layman terms to explain. So it wants to use heat to kill them, to trap them and kill them. And of course, that's why the temperature is high. And then the running nose you feel also is that it's trying to get out, whatever it senses as danger in your body. The same thing with diarrhea, all of those things. So when you now go, and it's normal. And in case of children, because children's immune system is growing. It's not like the adults that we've already built our immune system to an extent, but your children, they're just developing as they are growing. And it's true, the way you allow the immune system to work, that will develop, that will decide how strong the immune system is. For example, what I mean is, now the child is running and inflammatory process is going on in the body, and then you go and buy painkillers, or you go and buy antibiotics or anti-malaria. You now tell the immune system, by so doing, you're saying the immune system, shut your own work, don't do your work, let these things do the work for me. Now, the danger in that is that for children, as these children are falling ill, of course, due to the exposure of viruses most times, the immune system develop their army to attack those viruses. And then after the whole thing, when they overcome it, they register it, they keep it as in their memory. It stays there. So the moment such virus comes into the body again, they know what they're producing. They know the armies that they're going to send to attack that. And that's why when that same thing comes again, the child will not be as weak as it was initially. So this is a process that the children need to actually grow their immune system. So it's okay. Don't be too panicky for parents. I know that most times you panic. Don't be too panicky. It's only that, of course, if the temperature is getting too much, you want to just like help to bring down. But there are some natural ways, which I'll talk at the end of the day, of ways to actually bring out those things without bringing foreign bodies or without tampering with the whole process of inflammation. So that's that. Then, of course, when you go and use antibiotics and those malaria meds, you're spoiling the process, along with the fact that those things are also damaging the cells. So just cut that off. Then most common illnesses, then finally, yes, this is also to explain that. Finally, most of these illnesses, they are viral. So, okay, if the parents are probably giving healthy food, you're trying not to give pro-inflammatory food, but the child is falling, yes, we're in an environment where you have a lot of viral infection, viruses, a lot of, so the child, even adults, can come in contact with these viruses. But the truth is that viruses, there's no medication for them, and that's why you take vaccines. The same thing your vaccines will do in your body is the same thing that if you allow the process, the body will just also grow, fight it, release the immune system to fight it, develop the armies that will always fight it. So each time that virus comes again, there's already an army. So don't just rush to go and start using medication. What you need most times for the children when those things are happening, give them a lot of fluid. All you need to do is just build their immune system. So don't let me jump. So all you need is just to build their immune system most times. And how do you do that? You want to give them things, natural food or natural things that would actually help boost the immune system. And that's why sometimes they will say use vitamin C. Vitamin C is good because it also helps boosting the immune system and all of that. So now let's talk about how to actually boost the immune system to prevent this frequent illness and to help the body fight it when it comes. So one of the major things, like I said, if you're feeding them with pro-inflammatory, we also have, we have anti-inflammatory food. Yes, so instead of pro, you start giving them anti-inflammatory food. And we have some of them immune. So some of those anti-inflammatory food, of course, you have your fresh fruits. Your fruits, yes. So feed your children with fruit instead of those snacks, those biscuits that you're giving them. Give them fruits. Let them eat apples. Let them take oranges. Let them enjoy fruits in season. Pineapples, especially those ones that are rich in vitamin C. Feed them. Let that be their snacks. Also, do a lot of vegetables. Vegetables are also good. Find ways. I know that children don't like. Find ways. And carrot is vegetable. So, and of course, in my own case, my daughter likes carrot. So find ways. This can be snacks and it can be included in their food. Of course, the natural fluid. It's also a time, especially when they're already having those conditions. One of the things you want to do is feed them with a lot of fluid. Give them a lot of fluid. But make sure it's natural fluid. Don't start saying you're buying one drink. They want something, so give them orange juice, This is something that I do with everyone around me, my children, my neighbors' children, and we don't run to, and the child will be fine, So do natural fruits juice if they, but find ways to give them. But then there's also the time you want to also give them warming food, like warming teas, like ginger. Put a little bit of ginger, make teas with ginger, make tea with peppermint. This will also bring fever down, and all of that. Then you also want to use it. One of the easiest ways, because of course, what is making you to panic most as parents is the fact that maybe the temperature, they feel like the temperature is high. Relax. So there are oils, natural essential oils like peppermints, lemongrass. These oils, when you dilute them, you have to dilute them very well because they're children. And you rub it under their feet and around them, you know, it will bring down that temperature naturally without stopping the whole process. So, what are you waiting for? Today, I've told you what to do. And you know, the moment you start watching what you feed them with, and you cut down on quick, you are not rushing to the hospital every time. To go, I mean, you're not rushing to the pharmacy, because in Nigeria, we do self-medication to go and be buying medicine. And then you are feeding them with good food. And then you're using, I mean, if you want to bring that, because of course, outside, there are viruses, so they may fall. It's okay, don't be afraid. Just do the right thing, and they will be fine. And the best part of this is the immune system will actually do their work. And remember, have it as memory. Keep it in their memory, so that when the thing comes the next time, the effect will not be so strong on the child. And that's it. And that will also now grow to make that child a healthier adult. Because even as adults, you see some adults that they would fall ill frequently, or any small thing they'll just be down, and you see some the same disease, the same conditions, and they are strong. That thing starts from when they were, the way they did handle their immune system as a child is what actually will affect them as an adult. So let's raise strong children that will grow into strong adults and have a better society. Of course, as always, this is me, Bukola Ijoma, your health coach. That is just simply here to help you optimize your health. If this video has been useful to you, I mean, has been helpful to you, and you know somebody else that would love that this will be good for, please don't hesitate to share. And of course, comments, ask your questions, and I'll answer you. And like, and thank you for listening. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.